Looks like one of our development parts didn't fare too well in testing.
Nothing you can say can make that any better.
You can restart work from
Just save it.
For goodness sake. You know, it's not even funny anymore. Especially since we lost the major drag reduction upgrade. Welcome, guys, to the Canadian Grand Prix, episode number 48 here. For this F1 2017 career mode, we're here for the British Grand Prix. And that is a pretty major setback in this championship for us. I was really hoping to get all of those upgrades on the car, but lately it just feels like every second upgrade is like failing nowadays, and it's really setting back our progress in this championship challenge. But here we are in qualifying. Q2, as you can see right here, doing a lap right at the end of the session. You know, the pace is pretty good around here. Silverstone is a pretty unique circuit now on F1 2017 as we lose the back end massively out of the final corner. It's pretty weird because like a lot of these corners now are, I don't know, most of them are like flat, so it feels like the cars are kind of like too big for the circuit now. Like the track, like, I don't know, it's really weird, but these cars can just take the corners so much easier, and so now we're on like full throttle for the majority of the lap, and it's just a case of running as little aero as you can while maximizing top speed. And it's an interesting kind of layout. It's almost like Spa now, the amount of high-speed corners we have now and the average speed that we're taking. But yeah, either way, qualifying 3 now. We set a time that was good enough for P6 at the time, but then when I went out at the end of the session, we ran out of time to get P6, so that was a little bit disappointing there to not really get our final run in qualifying there. Probably cost us a couple of positions, but overall I wasn't as close to the front of the field as I was hoping to be. And with Kimi Räikkönen starting pretty much in last place, I don't think he got out of qualifying 1, so he's starting well down the order. So what I'm going to do for this race is actually put myself at the back with Kimi, and we're going to attempt to do like a damage limitation. We're going to take an extra power unit because we've already dived into our 4th power unit, and the way that things were going, we needed to dive into those extra components anyway. So I thought I'd do it now and kind of minimize the risk while Kimi Räikkönen is down the field, and we may not even lose any points to Räikkönen in this race. So let's go to the Grand Prix and see how we do. Now that is the Jeff that I am well and truly wanting to hear from. The kind that encourages me to be aggressive. Not the one that we saw in the previous episode who literally told me to give up at the end of qualifying. But yeah, here we go. For the start of this race, we're actually drawing alongside Räikkönen there just to send him a little message, say, hey, I'm here. And I'm definitely going to make a race of this and not make life easy for this Grand Prix being our championship rival. I think the gap to Kimi Räikkönen is 15 points, but the guys behind that, like Sebastian Vettel, he's 44 points behind. And then the likes of the Mercedes are even further back. So this is why we're targeting Räikkönen as our championship rival and taking the pain with him, because I think we can still outscore him starting from the back. But what's going on with this formation lap? It's okay, we found him. Marcus Ericsson was just off on a little bit of an adventure on that formation lap, but we found him now. Away we go for the Silverstone Grand Prix. Really nice start though up against Pascal Wehrlein there. We absolutely decimate him off the line, but heading into turn 1, we'll take this nice and cautiously. I believe this time last season we went around the outside of a lot of cars there, but this time couldn't quite make that move stick, and we're having to settle into 17th place right alongside our championship rival Kimi Räikkönen. It's a bit of a messy start, it must be said, a bit you know, antsy from all of us having to, you know, hesitate and second guess ourselves, but yeah, we managed to get ourselves through there fairly cleanly, and yeah, we can just focus on the task at hand. Really surprised though that Kimmy's actually gone for the super soft tyres. I would have thought he might have gone for like softs and then, I don't know, maybe take the mediums to the end on a one-stop. But we're still going to do a one-stop anyway on our super soft tyres, so I guess it doesn't matter too much. But as we go around the outside of Kimmy here, this is going to be really tight. We squeeze each other pretty much right up against our side pods, and yeah, Kimmy has surprisingly nothing in response there, so he just completely gives up the position, and now it's going to be down to us to kind of cut through this field. And I don't know, maybe Kimmy did that intentionally so that he can just follow me through and not really work too hard with his tyres and degrading those and whatever else. But after going through Maggotts, Beckett's and Chapel like the train we managed to get through there fairly cleanly, and now we're going to go up the inside, one of the Renaults as well, up into P14. We actually got past Magnussen as well, I believe. Those two squabble it out as we basically check out of that battle, and there we go, up into P14, make that 13th place. As we go around the outside of Lance Stroll, just completely danced around the outside there into the club section, and that is us up into 13th place. So first lap is done. We started off 20th place, and we find 7 spots. Kimi Räikkönen, I still guess would be in like 17th place, so yeah, he's got a lot of work to do in this Grand Prix. He's on the super soft tyre, he's got a lot of pace, but he's got to now use it if he wants to get some decent points today. He won't have all too much in terms of strategy as well, especially with all these guys in the lower end of the midfield, all on the soft compound tyres. They're all going to be running long into this stint, so I really don't know what kind of strategy options Kimi Räikkönen has available to him, apart from kind of undercutting those guys in a few laps. But as we saw there on the replay cameras, Sebastian Vettel and also one of the Red Bulls are diving in very early, end of lap 2, for new tyres. They're definitely doing the 2-stop today, which I don't know, might bury them in the field as well. But we get up the inside of Massa. Massa gives us a little bit of a touch on the exit of the Chapel section, and yeah, we lose that position. Had to cut the corner in the process because we weren't going to make the corner there. Massa just dives in there, gives us a little bit of a touch, and yeah, there we go. We were running side by side, and I cut the corner, to be fair, but Massa got the position back, so I guess it's all fair and square again. We're going to have to make that move stick once again. But as we catch up to Massa heading into turn number 3, we'll slide up his inside into turn 4, and that is us up into 9th place. We give him a light little touch like he did to us on the previous lap, and that is that little battle settled then. So yeah, we're making pretty sizable progress at this stage. The pace of this car is really incredible. We were actually the fastest in the speed traps in qualifying. I didn't mention that, so it's making life pretty easy for us to, you know, carve through the field, because our straight line speed is really solid today, running with like 5-6 wings, I believe it is, so slightly lower than the AI. Still managing to get through the corners quite well, and absolutely punching it onto the straights like we're doing now up the inside of a Toro Rosso and Esteban Ocon in the process. That's double overtake and into P6. Didn't make it stick though. Did not absolutely make that stick. Had to leave some space on the inside to Ocon, and yeah, just had a little excursion there through the final sequence of corners, and yeah, lost a couple of spots there. But it doesn't take us long to get back up the inside of both of them in another double overtaking move. Literally just a few corners later. So again, back into P6. Man, this Grand Prix it's been a bit of a roller coaster. We've been up and down and all around, having, you know, tangles with Massa, and, you know, having our little off-track excursions here and there, but pulling off some, you know, absolutely worldy overtakes in the process. It's been a really exciting Grand Prix so far, and then we're only 6 laps in. Make that P5 now as we get up the inside of Carlos Sainz. The guys in front of us now are all the top teams, so from here on in, things are going to get very difficult. But as we get into the top 5, everyone else starts pitting, so I think we're going to follow them in and respond. Ricciardo dives in, Bottas is in, and we're going to come in as well. We are diving in 1 lap earlier than what is recommended by the race strategy, so we might struggle a little bit for tyre wear come the end of the race, especially because, like I said, we haven't done any like tyre wear upgrades so far in this career mode, and most other teams have, so they're going to be better positioned at the end of the race to go to the end and have pace at the end. So yeah, we've got it up against us, but I didn't want to lose I don't know, track position, and also like time to other teams, because the undercard is worth so much around this circuit. It's you're probably better off just covering them off and just running with them if you can to the end of the Grand Prix. So we have a pretty interesting prospect. We had Max Verstappen and Sebastian Vettel stop on the second lap, I believe. Lewis Hamilton might have done the same thing too. So hang on a second. Where has this momentum come from? We just absolutely smashed past those guys. They must have been going really slow at the exit of the cops corner, and yeah, just their lack of momentum really put them in a troublesome position there, losing a spot to me there for 2 cars. So yeah, we've now cleared quite a few cars that have not stopped yet, and now we're kind of on the back of pretty much the leading group, with Max Verstappen right ahead of us. He stopped on lap 2. Same too with Sebastian Vettel, Lewis Hamilton, I believe. And now we're making a move on 2 cars again into the fast S section. And again, that was absolutely ridiculous how much time we made up as well. That was actually really, really close to having a major accident at the entrance of that section there. Around the outside, it kind of turns to the inside for the next right-hander. And yeah, we got up the inside of the Sauber and Max Verstappen in the process. That was really, really cheeky on my part here. I saw a gap emerging, and I thought, you know what, let's just go for it. They were on my left-hand side. I couldn't really see where they were exactly at this point from the onboard shots, but I knew that they were there, and this would get really tight as we got to the next right-hander. The Sauber driver turns in, and they run up against my side pod, and thankfully enough, we actually all got through there without losing any damage. And that was a really important move to make as well, because that is Kimi Räikkönen literally just joining in on the party a few seconds later. So yeah, we despite the slow start for Räikkönen, he's really making up the ground now in clear air. So absolutely have to get on with it now for the dying laps of this British Grand Prix. I say dying laps, we're only about halfway through now, but like I said, a lot of the traffic has been cleared now, and it's pretty much a straight up fight to the end of the Grand Prix. So yeah, I think we might be effectively fighting for a podium today. The guys who stopped on lap 2, they're completely out of the battle now. They're going to have to stop again, and that surely they won't catch up by the end of the race. So we've got us, Räikkönen, then we've got Ocon possibly leading. Vettel has to make another stop, like I said, and then we have Daniel Ricciardo right in front of us. So that's kind of the scenario we have at the moment. There's a virtual safety car deployed for, I think it's Lance Stroll, who was going really slowly on the previous lap. We actually catch up to him here on lap 16. He's going really slowly. I think it might be a puncture of some kind for him. So a very long and slow transition back to the pit lane for him, just like Sebastian Vettel had in the previous race. But here comes Räikkönen after 16 laps of racing here in this British Grand Prix. He's putting us under pressure, and now the tides are kind of turning now with that Ferrari that's just absolutely beastly in a straight line. There's a bit of contact through turn 1 as he tries to make a move through there. It's not really an overtaking zone unless you're literally alongside, but he sticks his nose in, goes for the gap, and to be fair, I probably would do the same thing as well. It got really close between the two of us, and thankfully we both survived once again. So many close calls with the AI today. It's absolutely outrageous. But here goes Räikkönen up the inside into turn 5, and we both get DRS. I found that a bit odd, but we're going around the outside here. I want to have the inside for the next right-hander, and hopefully we can make that move stick and give him a little bit of a squeeze on the exit. 4th gear to minimize the wheel spin. Standard revs will chuck that up into Rich, try and get past Kimi as we run into Cops. But yeah, unfortunately I didn't get that position initially off that right-hander, and now we've got it all against us now as we head into Cops corner. Again, really, really sketchy through there with 2 cars running side by side pretty much, and we run side by side into the middle sector. There's a warning for track extending. Again, another warning for track extending or corner cutting, because Räikkönen gave us the squeeze, and now there's a Mercedes car all over us on the soft compound tyres. That's Bottas. He's made another stop, and he's already caught up to us. Up the inside of Räikkönen now as we go into the corner that I always forget in every single career mode episode we have here ever. The name will come to me eventually, but we go around the outside of Räikkönen into the club section. We have the inside for the next right-hander, and that is job done. Back onto the podium. Nice little squeeze there, and that cost him about a second or 2 there. So here's a replay. Again, very similar move that we did to one of the Williams cars today. So I thought, it's a pretty effective move. You don't want to be on the outside heading into the final corner. You can just lose a lot of momentum and get squeezed out yourself there. So it worked on the Williams. I thought it would work on Raikkonen, and boy, did it ever, costing him a lot of time. No, Bottas is actually diving in again, so I thought he was all clear for his pit stops today. Turns out he's not. He must have lost a lot of time in traffic at the start of the race after his first pit stop. So to be effectively a pit stop down now in that Mercedes, that is a woeful effort from Valtteri today. Lap 20 out of 26 now. This is the equation. Us versus Raikkonen for the final spot on the podium. Ricciardo in second, and then Sergio Perez leading this Grand Prix just a few seconds up the road. It took me until like lap 20 to realize how close they were, and like if I just pushed on a little bit harder, then I can actually win this race. So yeah, that was a real eye-opening moment for me. I thought we weren't really in the battle to win today, but just after looking at the minimap and seeing just how close they are, we're still in the game. We can still win this, like if we start closing them in. So yeah, I think lap 20 was the turning point, and then from here I turned up the wick despite being very low on fuel. I wanted to catch up and get within the slipstream of Daniel Ricciardo. I knew if I could do that, then I'd be half a chance of overtaking him because we're so fast in a straight line. So yeah, for the next few laps I was just giving it everything. Like whatever the tyres had left in them, I was pretty much using the absolute maximum there, and at the same time I had to defend from Kimi Raikkonen, who is, you know, absolutely one of the quickest cars in the field today. So whatever times I was doing, even though I was up in the ante and improving my personal best by 3 or 4 tenths, Raikkonen was right there staying with me. 1 minute 30.6, my fastest lap. Sebastian Vettel absolutely obliterates that with a 29.5, and he's actually right behind Raikkonen now. I have to go to standard revs from the back part of the circuit to kind of alleviate the fuel issue that I've got going on at the moment. Running lean revs through all of the slow corners, but the fuel situation was getting quite bad. I think we were like down by 0.1 or 0.2 of a lap, so really had to get that under control before I started to mount another challenge. Each time I got DRS as well, I was just sticking it down in lean just to recover that fuel. And for the final 2 laps here, we'll probably chuck it up in a standard and hopefully make the most of that. Now there's a Sauber getting in the way of the race leaders here. It's Pascal Wehrlein. He slows up Daniel Ricciardo the most out of all the leaders here, so we'll try and make advantage of this if we can. Rich rev, slipstream, DRS to the outside, on the grass no less. And we managed to get around the outside of him. Now we're going to try and dispatch a Ricciardo up the inside into Stowe. I finally remembered the name, I told you I would. And that's P2. Bloody hell. What a race. What a race we're having. It's second place now. Next up is Sergio Perez. Literally the last lap of the Grand Prix now. And whatever tyres we have left, whatever fuel we have left, we're going to use it to chase down Sergio Perez if we can. Ricciardo now going defensive on both Ferraris, so hopefully he can keep them both at bay for me, and I can just concentrate on trying to catch Sergio Perez on this last lap. It really was just like a massive game at catch-up. Like, Sergio was the slowest, the next slowest was Daniel Ricciardo, and we were closing them both in at a pretty fast rate of knots, so we've all kind of converged on each other here, and both the Ferraris are quicker than absolutely everyone else. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how this race finishes up now, but literally only a sector to go in this British Grand Prix. We're catching up to some lap traffic as well. We're running in rich revs to burn whatever fuel we have left to try and throw this race win into our contention if we can. Through the Stowe corner once again. This is Sainz getting in the way of the Force India. We go around the outside. It's going to be side by side. As we run into the final sector, we're just going to have to lunge him here up the inside into the club section. We leave him space on the inside for the next right-hander. And it looks like we might just, only just, win this British Grand Prix.
That's a race win. You've really been great today.
And as the adrenaline dies down after another eventful Grand Prix, here come the top 3 out onto the podium.
Oh man, what a race. That was, honestly, if I had to like sum it up versus the rest of the races this season, this has got to be the best one of the season so far, just for the amount of battles we had, the amount of overtaking we had to do starting from last place. We've done a last to first challenge in career mode, and we've only gone and won the bloody race. with only, like, what, 2 corners to go? That was absolutely outrageous. In a way, though, I do feel really bad for Sergio Perez. Strung together, an absolutely amazing race, but only comes away with 18 points in the end there. For us, that has absolutely done wonders for our championship, only extending the gap to Kimi Raikkonen by, who knows, at least 10 points there. I don't even know where Raikkonen finished. I was busy just summing up that race to even know where he finished. But either way, championship is looking absolutely awesome right now. That, you know, performance in itself as well has actually, you know, raised the attention of some other teams. And now we're actually going to get some offers from some teams once again. So, as always, well, it seems to be with this career mode, we get offers from Mercedes, Ferrari, and Red Bull. Now, as you guys know, I'm in it for the long haul here in McLaren, so, you know, when we're so close to that end goal, we are not going to switch teams just yet. We're going to wait till we finish the championship, and then we'll have a look at our options. But just kind of preempting that, let me know down in the comments. I might have like a straw poll or some kind of poll where you can vote for the team that I race in next. If I do decide to race in another team next, I'm not too sure what my kind of decision is going to be come the end of the season. I don't know if this is actually going to be the last season of F1 2017 career mode, because I kind of want to do another career mode on a different game, but that will ultimately depend on your response to this video. So yeah, let me know what team I should race for, potentially next season, or if you want me to see, if you want to see another career mode series on another game, be sure to let me know, and I'll definitely consider my options after the season has done. But guys, that's been this episode for today. Thank you so much for watching. Absolutely destroy the like button for an against all odds victory around Silverstone, where I was just hoping for damage limitation to beat Raikkonen, but in the end, we've actually gone and won the race and extended further the gap to the rest of the field. You can't believe how happy I am with this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more F1 2017 videos. The next race, I believe, is the Hungarian Grand Prix, so that one will be interesting. Downforce-wise, the pace may not be there, but we will have the major drag reduction upgrade heading our way for that race as well. So, interesting times ahead. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, I'll see you next time.